Well, there are very, very, very few people, sadly, on the left who have been standing up against this insane tide since we decided to start carpet bombing the greatest economy in the history of the world. However, this next guest is one of those people, writer for the Daily Wire. You've seen him on my show before, Matt Walsh. Matt, why do it? Why bother with it? I know the emails I've been getting. I know the messages I've been getting from even friends of mine and how insane they tell me I am and what a horrible barbarian I am. Why are you hanging your reputation out there? Why not just go along with everyone? Hide under your bed.
Well, because I tend to think that the economy is sort of an important aspect of everybody's lives because we're all a part of the economy. And so this whole idea of, well, you can't put money over people. It's not money we're talking about, obviously. These are people's lives. And so, when I look at 17 million people have lost their job in 3 weeks, which, of course, is just the tip of the iceberg. There's many millions more than that have actually lost their jobs. I'm looking, when I see that, I know same for you. When we see it, we see 17 million lives that have been destroyed at a minimum. And so that to me really, really matters a lot. And it's worth speaking out about.
Matt, how did we get here? I obviously you know how I feel. I know how you feel. I think this is the most collectively agreed upon insane thing I've ever seen in my entire life. How does that happen? How do entire nations? It's not like we're the only ones just decide, well, hide everyone inside until we figure things out. That's bonkers, and yet everyone seems to have agreed to it.
I think it's the same story we've seen over and over again throughout history, although in recent history we've never seen anything quite like this. But it's the same driving factor, which is fear, at least among the population, the people that are going along with this, and not just going along with it, but supporting it, and even shouting at people like you and me who speak out about it. For them, they're just afraid. I think it's as simple as that. And what governments have learned, of course, is that if you scare people, they're going to be willing to give up almost anything, including their most fundamental rights. But of course, I'm told that when we're arresting pastors and shutting down churches and telling people they can't go outside for the wrong reasons, that's not an erasure of our rights somehow. That's the justification. But of course, people are just afraid. I think that's all it is. People are scared, and so they give up everything because of it.
Matt, I have to be honest. I thought we were different. I'm not America's father. America definitely doesn't want me as a father, but I have to say I'm disappointed, extremely disappointed. Like you just said, we have a pastor put in handcuffs and sent to jail for holding a church service. We have a mayor of the second biggest city in the country flat out saying from the podium that his citizens should inform on their fellow citizens who dare to open their businesses. We have a father placed in handcuffs in front of his daughter for playing softball with her at the park. If I had told anybody a month ago that these things took place, they would have said, oh, that Iran is terrible. Oh man, China is an ugly place. And yet it's right here. Are we not American anymore? Did we lose it? Have we always been kind of this way? And I'm just looking at history through rose-colored glasses. How did we get to this?
I think we're different in theory. That's what we're learning. But there's a big difference between the theory and the actual thing itself. So in theory, we love saying things like "give me liberty" or "give me death," or the Benjamin Franklin quote of if you'd give up liberty for a little bit of safety, you deserve neither. Those are very popular quotes, popular ideas, popular theories that we all love, and we have it on our bumper stickers and everything. But then when the stuff hits the fan, it starts to test that theory, and it shows do you actually believe all that stuff about freedom and liberty and give me death and all this kind of stuff. And what we discover is that I think most people don't really mean it. They like the idea of it. And so that's what America is. I mean, America was built on an idea of freedom and human rights. But you have to actually be willing to stand by that idea and put it into practice when it matters. Because here's the thing, the First Amendment, most of the time, as we're going about our daily life in normal times, the First Amendment doesn't do anything. It means nothing. You don't really need it because most of what you do and say out in public, the government has no real interest in trying to stop you from doing it. It's only when the government has an interest in stopping you that the First Amendment means anything. And so right now the government has an interest. And so now it's like, do you believe in the First Amendment or do you not? If you don't believe in the First Amendment now, then you just don't believe in it, period, because now is when it actually matters. This might be the first time in our lives when the First Amendment has actually been tested, really tested by the government. and we have failed that test, I think.
Do people really want freedom? Not just Americans, everybody. Do we really want freedom? Are we built that way? Is that how God made us? I mean, look, it's Good Friday today. We all know what Good Friday is about. Are we simply made to seek out a king? And I genuinely mean that. The only people I've ever seen in my life actually seek out freedom, seek out liberty, are people who are under a tyranny. Otherwise, everyone else seems to want to be served something and protected and coddled.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting question. I guess the answer is most of us don't really want freedom, and it's when this is all over, this is a conversation maybe we should really have an honest conversation. We should start asking questions like, do we really care about freedom? Do we care about our rights? What are human rights in the first place? What even is that concept? Is it something that's important to us? I think for a lot of us it clearly isn't. And what I say to people is, if you don't really care about human rights and you don't care about freedom, just say so. Make that argument. Who knows? Maybe you'll convince me. But make the argument. But whatever your argument is, whatever you think is more important than that, put that forward. But the problem is it's all in bad faith, the conversations that we have, because we all pretend to care about these things, but then it turns out that we don't.